Big C Energy. I'm Alison Haislip, and every episode I'm going to be joined by a guest, and we're going to bitch about cancer, because cancer can be a real dick. I am not just the host, I am also a current cancer patient. In August of 2025, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. At the time of this recording, I am about 7.5 months post my double mastectomy surgery. I'm about 2.5 months post my last chemo treatment. Yay! I'm about a month past my second surgery, which is just great. I've got about 6 or 7 more months of immunotherapy, and I've got 5 years of hormone therapy ahead of me. So I've been in the muck. And today I'm going to chat with someone who's also been in the muck, but he did it at such a young age, and he was on a hit TV show while he was doing it. He blessed us with Seventh Heaven, and now he's blessing us with his presence in the studio. It's Barry Watson.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here.
And I'm so sorry you're here, because it means you had cancer.
That's okay.
It's like the worst show to be on. Okay, so talk to me, because you were 28. Right?
I was 28.
You were 28. So at the beginning of my journey, people were like, I'm in my 40s, and people were like, you're too young. And I'm like, I know, but at 28, you're like just starting to figure yourself out. And then you get this big C diagnosis.
Yeah. Top of the world. Yeah. And then I found out, randomly, I was in New York doing a press for something, a movie that I'd done like the year prior, and it was St. Patty's Day, and I was talking to my elder brother. He's like, what are you going to do for St. Patty's Day? You going to go have a beer? And I was like, no, I'm just really tired.
Oh, no.
Really tired. And I thought it was just because, just working 18-hour days and stuff like that, traveling, whatever it was, and then came back to LA and had a breakfast with my mother who was visiting, and discovered this weird lump on my neck.
Oh, gosh.
And I was like, hey, Mom, what's that? And she's like,
you had already
that doesn't
seen
look
it?
weird.
Yeah.
No, I felt it just like, in between bacon and eggs. And and then I went to the doctor. My best friend told me not to.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
He was like, they're just going to tell you something bad is wrong with you.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, a lump in the neck is normally not something good.
Yeah. He's like, don't do it. So I went, and of course, I did all the tests and found out that I had cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was your diagnosis?
My diagnosis was stage 2B, Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Right.
And when I went to the doctor, I actually thought, I went and I had the biopsy done, but I went back to my regular doctor, and he'd called me up and said, hey, we got the test results back, why don't you come in? And at that time, I thought, because I was coming in by myself, he didn't tell me to bring somebody with me. I was like, I'm good. It's just some weird lump on my neck that they just had to check out.
And then you remember at 28, you're still technically adult.
Yeah. And then he sits me down, and then as he sits down, he's like, oh, I forgot to tell you to bring somebody. And I was like, fuck. And I knew right away, because my manager at the time, Mary, she had been through 2 bouts of breast cancer. Oh, wow. And I was like, fuck. And she's like the first person I thought of. And then his mouth was just moving for a while. I wasn't hearing shit. And then got in the car and drove home by myself, and called my manager, Mary, and was like, I don't know how to tell my parents.
Was she the first call, Mary?
Yeah, she was my first call, and she was great. And I was just like, I just don't know how to tell my mom and dad, and I wasn't really close to my dad at the time as well. And so then I got home, and I was going to prepare to call my parents, and there was the National Enquirer was there at my house, and there was already cards from all the tabloids. This is back in the day when it wasn't social media stuff.
Wait, they were there because they already knew about your diagnosis?
I'm pretty sure the nurse who did my biopsy.
Gross. I'm sorry.
Is the one that figured that out. Yeah.
Oh.
So instead of calling my parents right away, I got back on the phone with my manager and my publicist at the time and said, hey, listen, and my manager sort of handled it all. And I said, they're already here. They know. And
oh my God.
She's the woman that was outside of my house who I was screaming at just to get off my driveway, was like, just give us something because we're going to print it anyway. And I was
oh my God.
It was so disgusting. And so my publicist put together a quick thing, and kind of saying what I had. And then as that was happening, like at the same time, I was calling my parents to like let them
know so they don't find out from the National Enquirer.
Yeah, which a lot of my friends did. Found out from a press release that I gave out before they could do anything.
Right.
So that was my first day of finding out I had cancer.
That's any day.
The part I remember, actually.
Right, yeah. But we're not like in a complete haze about the whole thing. But I mean, anyone's day finding out they're getting like a cancer diagnosis is going to be insane. But you had to add the media on top of it. I mean. Well,
and I'm a very private person too. I'm not the type of person that goes out and likes to do lots of publicity or lots of this and that. I like to do my work and then come home and just be me, Well, and it's interesting that you brought up social media because I went through this process of being like, okay, I now have to go through and tell the people, who are my closest people and in my everyday life that I'm going to be going through this. And then I was like, but do I want to post about this publicly? Like that's a whole different thing. But there were so many people, I mean, I'm sure like once you get into the system and the doctor's appointments start coming and you get all this stuff thrown at you, you don't have the time or the wherewithal or the emotional strength to make those phone calls to have to tell someone. It's not what you're thinking about.
Right.
It's not what you're thinking about at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, it was all of a sudden there I was, I almost felt like I was naked to everybody in a way of and so,
and what year is this?
This is 2002. 2002. And I believe I found out in March because I was thinking about today. It would have been 24 years, and I was probably on my fourth round of chemo, maybe.
Chemo, right. So
24 years ago.
Right. So because it's Hodgkin's lymphoma, chemo is the very first step, correct?
Yeah. And I had it it was in my neck, and it was in some of my lymph nodes in my chest. It was basically in my upper torso. But they just, my doctor at the time, my oncologist was just like, I just did chemo. I didn't have to do radiation.
Oh, okay. That's great. So how much chemo did you have to do?
12 rounds. Wow. So 6 months. So it was, I want to say it was 6 months, March to October, because it was October was my last chemo treatment. And I had found out months before that, after one of my scans, that I was cancer free, but I still had to complete my.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I was like, but I'm good.
Like, don't I get to finish?
Well, we got to keep going all the way.
I know. It's
got to finish your cocktail.
Yeah, I was in the situation where I had surgery and then my pathology came back different, and that's why they decided I had to do chemo. But because I had surgery and the tumor had been removed first, there was no scans to do. So we just had to be like, this works. We know this works. But I had so many people ask me, as I started, they were like, but if the chemo starts working faster, maybe you don't have to do it all. And I'm like, no, you have to still do it all. There is no. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard for people to understand who haven't been through it.
Right.
How it all works. And also it's the different cancers are different cocktails and different things, and everybody's experience is a little different.
Right.
Also when I was going through it, 24 years ago, some of it was still very new. There was really like nowadays, I feel like so many people have been exposed to it through whether they've had it or not, or had a family friend or a family member that has gone through it. But then it wasn't, not everybody knew somebody that was going through cancer at the time too.
Right.
So it was really, I had a lot of people disappear in my life.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
But then I had some people who
show up.
Really came out of nowhere. Yeah. Like people I barely even knew.
Yes, I had that experience as well. Yeah. Like I've been so pleasantly surprised by the people who did. I mean, there were people in my life who I knew these are the people who would show up. But you're right, the people who I never expected, the people who just were like, I've made you a meal and I'm coming. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that you even thought of me that way. Yeah. Yeah. I thankfully didn't have a lot of people disappear, but I've heard that as a very common thing with people. Like, it's like people don't really know how to help or how to respond, and they just poof.
Well, it's like the people who see somebody fall on the ground and their first instinct is to laugh because they're so uncomfortable they don't know what to do.
Right.
There's the people who are the people that are the caretakers or the people who care. And then there's the people who just, for whatever reason, I'm not one of them, but I've seen them that just sort of get uncomfortable and drift away.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that did not happen.
Yeah.
Because that sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I read about. I mean, like, now with social media, like the algorithm figures out you have cancer real fast. So it just starts feeding you things. And like one of the things I saw is like how to deal when people disappear from your life once you've had a cancer diagnosis. And I'm like, really? People do? So it isn't uncommon.
That's so crazy. I didn't even think about that the algorithms would, that would drive me ape shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, my journey has, listen, going through cancer sucks regardless.
Yeah.
But I also realize how lucky I am and how a lot of people have had it way worse. Mm-hmm. And so I look at some of this stuff and I can't relate to it because it's people talking about like some really tragic times and all this kind of stuff. And then I feel like a jerk is my point. I look at it and I'm like, oh man, mine wasn't that bad,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, I look at it that way too. Because I don't know how when you were in your chemo treatment, were you isolated in your own space or were you in a room with other people going through treatments?
So it's kind of yes to both questions. The place I went to was like a more tiny boutique place, which I'm really glad I chose that place because I was originally thinking I was going to go to Cedars-Sinai out here, and the Cedars treatment place is known as like the Four Seasons of chemo in LA.
Sure.
But it's massive. And I went through UCLA instead and chose their tiny little like Beverly Hills boutique place. And there's maybe 12 chairs in this one room. But because I chose to cold cap, which is what I did to keep my hair during this. While I was in that room, I was in like a nook with like some cubicle walls. So I did have my own little space within the big room. They called it the suite. I was in the suite, and it was really nice. And it was like right next to the bathrooms. And I was like, oh, so I got to like zone out. Like I wasn't aware of also my treatments. I was getting 4 infusions with all of my treatments. So I was there for at minimum 6 hours. The first day I was there, I think I was there for 8.5 hours. So I was there for so long.
Wow.
But I just had no sense of what was happening in the rest of the room because they also they give you so many pre-meds. I don't know if you had a lot of pre-meds, but my pre-meds just made me stoned. So I was just like zonked out the whole time.
I didn't have a lot of pre-meds. They gave me a lot of nausea medication and stuff like that. But it was really like my friends who had would make me like pop brownies and stuff like that. That really was like the only thing that didn't make me completely nauseous.
Right, but also that
was illegal back then.
I was going to say that's such a big difference now. Your friends had to make you pop brownies, but I just went around the corner and got some gummies. I was like, and it's so crazy because you can walk in and be like, "Hi, I'm about to go through chemo. What do you recommend?" And the people in the shops are like, "Oh, it's this." Like they know.
They know. That's so amazing.
I know.
I wish I had that. But I'm thankful for my friends who are good bakers
and had good drug dealers.
Sure, exactly.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny. It's like that's the joy of living in a state that's now legalized marijuana. Chemo's way easier.
Yeah, but one of the things that I was going to go at was like when I was at the Cedars-Sinai Cancer Center.
Yeah. Was it the Four Seasons then?
It wasn't kind of what I know. I haven't been there in a while. They finally told me to stop showing up because I was kind of addicted to kind of coming back and getting scans and blood work there.
Really?
Yeah, for 10 years after.
Interesting.
And then they were like, you don't really have to come back here anymore.
Oh, wow.
But when I was there, I remember sitting and it was when they didn't have a private room for me and I was sitting with everybody else. And it was, you were with kids and you were with all sorts of different cancer patients with all different types of cancer, little kids. And there was this older man that was next to me and his spirit was what changed me during my treatment because he's no longer with us. I'm sure of it. And he knew that at the time, but his attitude was just so wonderful. He was so present in the moment and not thinking too much of what was to be for him. And because there was the why me, the somewhat of feeling sorry for yourself, a little bit of a pity party. And he was just like the guy who really sort of switched it for me.
Yeah.
And because I was like, I'm so lucky. And look how this guy is. He feels he's so lucky, but he's terminal.
Yeah.
And and that was one of the blessings, I think, for me of not being able to get into that private room that day.
Oh.
Was to have that other experience with my fellow chemo patients,
Yeah.
people,
Did you
that
find
are just getting all this toxic crap pumped into us in this room. And
did you find that you saw the same people there at all your treatments?
I would see him more, and I'd see him, and then one day I didn't see him.
Oh gosh.
And but I was grateful to see him when I did.
Yeah.
And I'd see some of the same little kids sometimes too, and that was just
I can't imagine seeing I thankfully did not see a child there. I don't know if I'd be able to.
That's
comprehend
tough.
that.
That's tough. I don't think they have it that way anymore.
Yeah.
I think they've separated it, and I don't want to bounce around too much. But I'm an ambassador for this Teen Cancer America in the last 4 years, and what they're doing is they're trying to really help out some of these cancer centers throughout America to help with the more young adults and adolescents that are going through it,
right.
and to kind of, instead of having all these people all in the same space, they're trying to really kind of make it as comfortable as for these younger kids as possible.
Yeah, that was actually something I found shocking after my first treatment. Mm-hmm. I walked out and I said to the woman, the scheduler at the desk, as I was walking out, I was like, that was far less traumatic than I expected it to be, because they do. Chemo nurses, I've said this time and time again, they're angels, and they do try to make things as comfortable as possible. And I don't know about you, but I had this wonderful leather reclining chair, and they kept bringing over warm blankets.
The warm blankets, cold packs, hot packs.
Yeah. Well, my head was frozen my entire treatment because that's how the cold capping works. They did not need to bring me anything cold. I had that under control. What were some of your symptoms that you dealt with chemo? Because that was another thing I found fascinating, is that everyone goes through something different. It's just depending on how your body takes it. The veins was a big thing. Oh, because you didn't have a port.
Yeah. And so they were going at me all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have issues when I get my blood work, where they're just like, wow, what's wrong with your vein? I'm like, oh, it's probably pretty scarred up.
Yeah. This actually just happened to me. I went in last week, I went in for my immunotherapy appointment, and they had to take a blood draw, but they were taking extra for these other tests. I mean, when the amount of tubes they lined up in front of me, I was like, how much of my blood are you taking?
When they have the two hands.
Yeah. I was like, Jesus. But anyway, they went into the vein that's normally my very good vein, and halfway through, it just died. Mm-hmm. The blood just stopped coming out. And the nurse is like, oh, I'm sorry. I think I have to re-stick you. And I'm like, oh my God. And I had just had surgery. So I had to have lymph nodes removed on the right side of my body. So they tried to not do any work on that side of the body. So it's all on the left, but that's also where my port was. And I just had my port removed from my surgery. And so they were trying to not traumatize anything else. And then they decided to go in through the vein that's right by your wrist. And oh my God, that's so painful.
That's where they started going at me towards the second half.
Oh, really?
Was on top, was on my hands here, went from here, and then they rotate. They were trying to rotate as much as possible.
Yeah.
Around.
But you don't realize it's so much more pain until all of a sudden they stick you. You're like, whoa.
You're really bringing it all back for me right
Sorry.
now. No. It's actually good. I knew this was gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry that you're going through that, because you're at this, but you're also at this. I mean, you're going through it. It's your own experience. So everybody's experience is so different. But you're almost there.
I know it's crazy. I mean, we only just started recording this maybe 6 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I did not have eyebrows when we started recording this. My eyebrows have come back like champs. I'm so proud of them. Right?
Those are your eyebrows?
These are my eyebrows.
They look great.
Thank you. I mean, I had great eyebrows before chemo too, so I'm just stoked that they came back as well as they did.
Wow.
But also, I'm realizing even in these 6 weeks, I feel so much further away from chemo specifically, that I'm like, what was chemo like?
Wow.
Well, but at the start, I was like, God, I felt like I could still feel the taste in my mouth it made. I was still wearing, water retention was something. I was still wearing compression socks because my ankles were swelling up. So it's wild that in 6 weeks, I'm even feeling this much.
Well, every day you just start feeling better.
Yeah. And did you find that? Because here's the thing, I finished chemo, And my cycles were like once every 3 weeks. So I had expected by the 3 weeks after my last treatment, I would start feeling better. And I didn't. I was still so fatigued. I was dealing with so much muscle soreness. And I got kind of, I don't want to say like I went to a dark place, but I was depressed like maybe a couple weeks later when I was like, why don't I feel better yet? Did you have that too?
I think what I had was finding out before I was done with my treatment that the cancer was gone.
Oh, yeah.
Psychologically, that just really boosted me.
Yeah.
But it was also at the time where, as you know, the more treatments you've done, the harder and harder it takes a toll on your body.
Yeah.
So my body was getting more run down, but my spirits were lifted. It was like this weird sort of thing of... And then I refused for a long time to cut my hair, to shave my head.
Oh.
And because I was like, no, I mean, there's still hair there, but I didn't really realize it. I mean, I knew my eyebrows were pretty much gone, but David Gallagher, who played my little brother on Seventh Heaven, I remember I won a Teen Choice Award when I was going through chemo.
Oh my gosh.
And I decided to show up to the event.
Yeah.
And I was like, screw it. I'm gonna show that I'm going through cancer. I'm gonna show that I can show up at this thing even though I was beat to hell. And I'm there and we're doing like the red carpet and I see David and he's like, dude, you look like the Crypt Keeper.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh, shit.
You're like, thanks, man.
I gotta shave my head. Oh. And it was funny. One of the people who showed up out of nowhere, I went over to her house and her mom and her family were there and we sat in the kitchen. They shaved my head for me.
And what was that like for you? Because, stereotypically, we can say that's probably easier for a man than a woman. Like a woman shaving her head is different. And I was actually kind of embracing the idea of doing that before I decided to cold cap. But for you specifically, I feel like your hair was like part of your whole vibe, especially on that show. I see where you're going with this. Like you were the guy with the great hair on that show.
The first guy back in the 90s with like the long hair.
Yes,
was rocking the long hair. Yeah.
And so did that like screw with your image or like, I mean, what was that like mentally, I guess?
I didn't think about that. Actually, when I did it, it actually felt really liberating. I just kept thinking of David going, Crypt Keeper, Crypt Keeper.
You're like, I definitely don't want to look like that.
So there was something sort of liberating about it.
Okay.
And it's funny, during COVID, I was up in my place in Michigan and I hadn't had my hair that short since I was going through chemo and, we weren't doing anything and my daughter, told my daughter, I said, you want to shave my head?
Yeah. So
she shaved my head during COVID. And it was like, oh my gosh. And I was thinking a lot about, wow, this is the last time I did this was, when I was going through chemo. And, when I was going through chemo, it felt more liberating then than it did then. I don't know why. I don't know.
And so...
But it was the eyebrows. The eyebrows were weird.
Yeah. It was when I started losing my brow. I thankfully lost them in a way that filling them in with makeup still looked normal.
Yeah, I don't think I could have done that.
No, I agree. That's where it's easier for a woman than for a man. I was funny. I was bitching to one of my friends about it. I was like, I have to fill in my eyebrows so much with an eyebrow pencil. She's like, I have to do that normally. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't. Like, my brows are like a thing, You know what was really rude is all my eyelashes fell out a month after I finished chemo. They had like hung on. I mean, they'd gotten sparse, but like literally a month after I finished chemo, all of a sudden they were just all gone.
Did they just like go out in like one thing, like over, like you were having soup and they were like, oh, there they go?
No, they were going slowly. And actually, it's funny. I started the podcast and I think it's because I was getting my makeup done for the first time in months that
they were a little delicate.
And they just went poof. And I was like, oh, but they're already growing back so well as well. So I'm like not complaining.
Your eyebrows, seriously. No, I'm like...
Keep talking, Barry. I know. They're amazing.
I'm impressed.
This is what I said to my mother. When I found out I had to do chemo, I went... I still got to travel home for Thanksgiving. I started chemo at the beginning of December. So I went home for Thanksgiving. I saw my family. And again... Where
are you from originally?
New Jersey.
Okay.
Right. But my family lives in Hilton Head, South Carolina. Right. It's a whole thing. Okay. So that's where I was. Gotcha. But, I'm talking with my mom And it was, again, it was when I was making the decision, do I want a cold cap or not? Because cold capping right now is not covered by insurance. You can get reimbursed, and that's what I'm hoping will happen. But it cost me almost $3,000 to cold cap during my chemo treatment. And I only had 6 treatments. If you have more treatments, it costs way more, you know? So I was talking with my mother about it, debating about it. And then I went, you know what? It's not really like losing my hair that I think I'm upset about. I was like, it's losing my eyebrows and my eyelashes, because I think that's what makes you look quote unquote sick. And I was like, and I'm not sick. Like, yeah, the drugs are not going to make me feel great, but it's like, it's not like I am sick. And I just didn't want to be seen that way. I didn't want people to treat me that way. And, you know, then the eyebrows went, but they all sort of went at different times. So I don't think I ever really looked like, I think there might have been a 2-week period where I looked real sad.
You had a different period. Eyebrows are there. Eyebrows are coming back.
Yes.
Eyelashes are gone.
Exactly.
What the fuck is wrong with me?
No, I just can't wait. We're at the period now, like in a couple weeks, I can finally start cutting and styling my hair again, like gently, but I can start doing that. And like,
I'm so excited for you.
I mean, thank you.
I'm so
Me
excited
too.
for you.
It feels like it's one of the last big steps of this whole thing, to finally like get through and like be myself again on the other side of it, you know?
But your energy seems good.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, man. Again, that's very different from the beginning of, in 6 weeks, I feel like I have my energy
No, your
back.
energy seems really, really good.
Yeah. It's wild when, because I didn't know how to explain this to people, because it wasn't, it's not like your energy sapped like you're not getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
Because I was sleeping so much, and I'd wake up and I'd be fine. It's just, I would say my body didn't want a body. That's what I said. Like, I would walk to the end of a block and I'd be breathing like I ran a marathon.
Right.
And I was like, I can't do this. I can't. It's and you're like, why, body? Like, this is, I'm putting good food into you. I'm treating you well.
Right.
Why are you behaving like this? And it's just because of these drugs they're pumping into you.
So were you eating, or did you change your diet while you were going on that?
The only thing I changed was trying to eat as much protein as humanly possible. I thankfully kept my taste buds during this. And so I didn't, and I didn't have nausea. And God, the amount of steroids that they put me on, all I wanted to do was eat. But I was told by a nutritionist to try to eat anywhere between 80 and 100 grams of protein a day, which is a lot for me. So I was just housing anything with like, I think I ate more hamburgers in like a 3-month period than I had in the last 3 years.
Just eat, baby.
Yeah.
Just eat.
Yes.
My dietitian, I remember, they were like, the dietitian's going to come see you today. And this is like the beginning when everybody's coming to meet you. And you're like, okay, I'm meeting the fucking dietitian today. Dietitian sits down and he's like, okay. I was like, okay, he's going to put me on some special diet, you know, that I've heard about, you know. And he's like, so I just need you to eat. Yeah. I was like, okay, well, anything in particular? He's like, just eat. Just eat. I need you to keep your weight. He's like, if you can try to keep your weight as much as possible, that's the most important thing while you're going through this right now. And I was like, so I don't need to eat certain vegetables? And he's like, nope, just eat. Eat. Yeah. I just need you to try to keep your weight. Yeah. You know? And
the protein, especially because, you know, as it was explained to me, like, your body has so much cellular turnover happening. Yeah. And you just need to give it the building blocks to build all that back up. Yeah. You know what shocked me when I met with the nutritionist? Like, we go through the whole thing. She's telling me about the protein, all that kind of stuff. Electrolytes, being hydrated.
Ensure those insured.
Yes, she recommended that.
Or whatever those drinks are that they are now.
Yeah.
They were old people drinks when I was going through it.
They still give you Ensure at the chemo center. There was something else, I can't remember the name of it, but it was constantly sold out. I never could get my hands on it. So I ended up just using like an electrolyte powder.
Gotcha.
But at the end of the whole session, she was like, so do you have any questions for me? And I went, I'm assuming no alcohol, right? And she goes, no, it's not that you can't have alcohol. And I was like, what? She goes, you just got to think about it this way. Your organs are doing a ton of work right now. You don't want to tax them. She's like, but if you want to have like a drink at dinner, it's fine. And because I started right before Christmas, and I was like, oh, so if I wanted to have like a glass of wine at Christmas dinner, I can do that? She's like, absolutely. And I was like, oh, and there was something, not that I was like, great, I can party now. It was more just like, I know, let's go hard. It was more just not.
Your turn, my turn.
Yeah. But it was more just like not having that restriction placed on me just gave me so much relief.
Just being able to still live life and enjoy certain things.
Yes, exactly. And feeling like a human again.
Oh, I would have, speaking of the protein, I had this place, I was living in Topanga Canyon at the time when I was going through my treatment, and this place that's no longer there anymore. I was friends with the owner, and they would always, on certain days when they knew I was just about to go back into my treatment when I was feeling good again, you know, they would make me a big steak and eggs and this and a cold pint of beer.
Yes.
And
my gosh.
I'd have that like a couple days before I'd go into my treatment. And then they wouldn't see me while I was run down a bit. And then when I was feeling good, I'd come in, they'd make me my high protein meal with my cold pint.
My gosh.
You know?
Yeah.
And it felt like I was a truck driver.
And then did you have a period of time where you never wanted that meal again? Because it was like attached to this traumatizing part of your life.
I'm thinking about it. Yeah, no, I never went back to that again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't think I did. Of course, I eat a lot better now than I probably did back then.
Yeah.
Just for my own choices.
We all eat better than we did in our 20s. I have all these other things
that go on now that I've gotten older since my cancer, like high cholesterol since I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
I'm on blood thinners. And it's just like, I'm just like...
Getting old.
Yeah, what's going on?
I mean, it's a privilege and also lame.
yeah, exactly.
So talk to me a bit about, because I think this is an important thing to get across to people, is that you can still have a life while you're going through chemo. Mm-hmm. Like I shot a TV show while I went through 2 rounds of chemo and shot a TV show. So I was not expecting.
That's impressive. I did not do that.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask, because you were still on the show. I mean, you won a Teen Choice Award. You must have been. So like, what was happening with the show at that time?
Well, it's interesting. A lot of people think that I stopped doing the show because I had cancer. My contract was up.
Oh.
I was year 6 when I had cancer, and my contract was up, and I decided not to renew it.
Oh, okay.
You know, my character was already in college. I was like, well, you know, what do you got my character do? There's nothing going on. So I was leaving the show. And this has to do with one of the people that really came to me instead of going away from me during that time was Brenda Hampton, the creator of Seventh Heaven. After everybody found out that I had cancer, she came to me and she said, look, you're going to need something to do. And I said, okay, yeah, totally. I want to keep doing something. Obviously, the acting thing might not be happening right now. She's like, I'd like you to come on and be the story editor, and I'd like you to write for the show.
Oh, that's incredible.
And I said, wait, what? I said, but, you know, Brenda, I can't promise I'll be there every day to the office. She's like, you know what? If you're not feeling good, it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll cover for you, but I want you to have something to do.
Yeah.
And that just like meant the world to me. It still does. It's just like one of those things. I'm like, you know, she didn't have to do that, and she did. And so I came on, and it actually helped me a lot to learn some of the other side of things of the show. And so, you know, it might have been also a way for her to get me to come back on the show. I'll be like, you kind of owe me.
Yeah.
So I did that, and you know, I was able to do it for a couple months. I wrote one episode. I was the story editor, and I had my own office at the Spelling Building across from the SAG offices, and you know, I would go in every day if I could, you know, for a couple hours and work in the office. And then that was sort of what I did. The acting thing I'd sort of just put on hold for a bit.
Yeah, of course.
You know, until my eyebrows grew back.
Because you didn't have my eyebrows.
Yeah, I did not have your eyebrows. I didn't have that kind of luck. So that's sort of like, you know, that's sort of what I did during that time.
Yeah.
You know. And
then what was it like stepping back into acting? I ask that because it is such a physical medium, but like our image matters. Like, were you feeling like yourself again? Did you look at yourself differently? Were you looking at roles differently because of it?
I had such a zest for life. It was like I was a newborn.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like whatever a newborn, I don't remember what it felt like when I was born, coming out of my mom's, you know what. But I felt like I just had the zest for life. Mm-hmm. And also it was interesting because, you know, when I was going through the chemo, my doctor came, I was like, you know, this chemo, you might not be able to have a kid, so you might want to save your sperm. And I was like, no, fuck that. I was just so stubborn.
Really?
I was like, no, I'm not saving anything. Let's just do this. Let's just get into it. Let's just get rid of this shit. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So I didn't do any of that. And so, you know, I had this zest for life, but then I was always like, all of a sudden I was like, wow, maybe I do want to be a dad one day.
Oh,
I hope I can.
yeah. I hope I didn't burn that bridge.
Yeah, I hope I can. And my zest for life changed. It just, I was always sort of, I felt like had this youthful heart, but it actually became even more youthful. And I still think I sort of live that way now. I mean, I ask my 14-year-old daughter, she's just like, oh my God, you shut up and grow up. You say,
Dad, you're so embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing. Like, chill out and grow up.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm like the biggest kid still in my house. But just this real zest for life and really, really, really not missing out. Like,
yeah.
You know, I do walks every day, 2.5 miles every day. I don't have my phone on me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on me, but I don't have it on me. You know what I mean? And I go everywhere really just trying to notice as much as I can. I try not to miss out.
Yeah.
You know, on just like the tiniest, little things.
Were you given the advice during chemo to plan something to do once you were done, like to plan a trip or something? I asked that because I was given that advice, and they were like, just start planning something for when you're done. Do something big, do something important.
Like a goal?
Yes.
A goal to set for yourself for when you're finished?
Yeah, and at the time I was like, I don't need that. I'll be able to, I can get through this. And then halfway through chemo, I was like, I need to start planning something. So in 2 weeks, I'm calling it I'm fucking off to Europe trip for 2 weeks that I started planning while I was in chemo, just to like have something to look forward to and just be like, this is for me, and like celebrating that I got through this.
I don't remember anybody suggesting that, but I wish somebody did, because that's such a great idea. And now I feel like I can't wait to go on your trip. We're going to have a great time. Because I think I would have wanted to go to Europe after I finished my 12 rounds of chemo.
Yeah. No, I just needed something.
No, I don't remember anybody suggesting that at all.
Well, I thankfully spoke with an oncologist who was not my oncologist. It was an oncologist that a buddy of mine put me in touch with when I found out I had to go through chemo. And he's like, just talk to my friend in case you have any questions, and then he can like help you navigate what you should look for in the oncologist you choose. And he's the one who told me getting through chemo is the mental game. Like, and physically, I kind of get that. Like, if you took any one day in and of itself on chemo, it's so survivable. You get through it, you're fine. It's the consistency of it and that wearing down on your mental health. And that, I don't think I realized how important that was until I was like, it was like round 4 for me. Round 4 was the round that turned me dark, I say, when I was like, I can't believe and I only had 2 more to do. You had to go through so much more. Like, I don't understand how people
if you didn't have tenacity before, you learned to have tenacity during that. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to get yourself back up.
Oh my God.
If you don't get yourself back up, then you're just going to keep digging yourself into this hole.
Right. I kept referring to it as a slow torture. When my friends asked me, I was like, it's this slow? Because it's, again, I only had one really bad day on chemo that I look back on and I'm like, Jesus. But like all the rest of it, it's like the symptoms aren't like the most dire things. They're just constant.
Yeah. It doesn't go away.
Right.
It doesn't go away.
Like at least when you get a cold, you know in like 2 or 3 days you're going to be just fine.
You're going to be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with this,
there's this like underlying sort of feeling that doesn't go away.
Right. And then I definitely hit a point where I was like, is it ever going to go away? And I'm here to tell you, oh my God, if you're listening to this going through chemo, it does go away. But
it does go away.
I definitely.
It all goes away.
Yeah.
Not all of it. Hold on to the good stuff.
I know. I think I just expected to be like myself by after 3 weeks and be like, okay, I'm going to be good again. And when I was not, I was like, oh,
no, I don't know. I don't know if it ever, I think going through something like that, never, there's a change that happens that never goes away. And hopefully it's a good change that you hold on to. It's funny. When I first, you guys reached out to me about this. I was like, you know what, guys, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah. And
they said, why? And I said, because I am so sick of talking about cancer.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, okay, understandable. I said, just give me a beat. Just give me one, just give me the weekend and let me think about it, because I'm sure I'll change my mind. It was whatever I was
Well,
feeling.
we're very
that
glad
day.
you changed your mind.
No, and of course I slept on it, and I was like, no, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to, go there. I'll take my interview mask off, and let's get real, and we'll talk about this.
Well, thank you for doing that.
But also I want people to know that are out there, if they care to listen to this, it's like, sometimes it's okay to be sick of it.
Yes.
And you'll go through that, I'm sure, at some point. You know, when you're on episode, 200 of this podcast,
God willing.
you're like, okay, here I am again. I'm sick of talking about cancer.
No, I thought about that as I was signing on to do this.
do it?
I was like, do I want to talk about cancer this much? And it just, at the time, it feels like such a perfect Venn diagram of my skill, my capability, and my experiences. And I was like, I feel like it'd be ridiculous for me to pass on this when the universe plopped this into my lap. But it was absolutely a thought.
But this is so great, though, that you're doing this. Because there wasn't anything like this when I was going through it. And like I think I spoke about earlier, is that I think, not that we're also used to cancer, but it's just becoming more of a norm of and so it wasn't then, and I'm not happy it's more of a norm, but I'm happy that there's something like this
that people are talking about it more.
Cancer
openly.
people can talk.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then other people who maybe don't have cancer, or people who do have cancer that can relate to it, or go, oh my God, that's what I'm feeling, that doesn't have the people to talk to.
Right.
And so it's so great that you're doing this.
I'm so glad you
And that's
understand
exactly
that.
what I woke up the next morning when I said, I'm sick of talking about cancer. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
This is great.
Well, also, I mean, just to validate you, we have reached out to people who do pass for that very reason. That they reach back out and they're like, I just don't want to talk about cancer anymore. And we're like, I get it. I get it. And obviously, door is always open, but that was a big thing for me too. I was like, because we're going to be talking about people's very personal medical journeys, I want to be able to respect whatever they have gone through. And if someone wants to come on but is not comfortable about talking about a specific part of it, we won't even touch it.
Yeah.
And what you just said. If you're out there listening to this or watching this and you are going through it, hopefully this is giving you some sort of community, some entertainment to it, to know that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
There's life after it.
But also, almost going back to your very first point of your friend saying, don't get it checked out. They're just going to tell you something bad. Even knowing if you're going to get a somewhat dire medical diagnosis, it doesn't have to be all that scary. No,
well, there's the people that are, that are going through life that have something that's bothering them right now. That's thinking, maybe it'll just go away in a couple days or whatever. But it could be something that is not so good that you need to go to the doctor for.
At the time that we're recording this, I just realized tomorrow will be the 1 year of when I felt, quote, something weird in my boob.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So we're coming up on I'm about to a year. I'm about to be a year out from the start of this journey. And I remember thinking it's fine. What is that? Because, they tell us women if you feel a lump, but then they don't, you don't know what a lump feels like. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just felt something and I was like, that just feels different than the rest of my boob. But I was like, is that what they mean? I don't know.
Well, no, because I'm a man, so I've got man boobs. But
you still got to check them.
I'm sure I do. But women's boobs, I guess, are all sort of different, or some are more softer and some are more dense or whatever it is.
And
I can't believe I'm talking about boobs right now.
You are totally allowed to talk about boobs.
But yeah, I mean, that's got to be a different thing for different women, I guess, to be able to tell the difference with that.
And I was I remember thinking this isn't anything. I was like, I don't need to get this checked out. And I had also I was talking myself out. I just started a new workout program that was more upper body. And I was like, I bet it's a muscular thing or whatever.
I'm just building muscle.
Yeah. Cause it was right on the side here. And I was like, but it's that. And then I was like, I'm just going to monitor this. And a week or so later, a friend hugged me really tight and a pain shot through that boob. And that's when I went, just get it checked out. Get it. I literally was like, get it checked out so you have peace of mind. And then I did not have peace of mind.
Yeah. But at least you went. Thank God you went, though.
Yeah, I know. I think about that all the time.
Yeah. And thank God I went.
Yeah. And going back again, you said the guy in the chemo center was the one who made you realize you were lucky. I reconnected with an old coworker about this because she had gone through a breast cancer diagnosis as well. And she was the first person to say to me, Alison, just remember that we're the lucky ones. And at that time, it was too early on. At the time, I was like, I don't feel fucking lucky at all.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
This isn't lucky. This feels real shitty.
Yeah. Go eat shit. What are you talking about? Yeah. No, totally. Yeah.
And now that I've gone through it and understand how much more serious it could have been, I feel incredibly lucky.
Yeah.
I truly, I'm like, oh, thank God this happened the way it happened and that I did listen to my body and that I did go get checked out. Because
that's the thing.
So much worse.
Listen to your body, people. Because, you know, it's interesting because one of the things that I looked back on after I found out that I had it as well was I had really, I think I found it in March of 2002, somewhere around March or something. But that earlier that year, that fall, I had really itchy skin.
Oh.
And I was itching my legs so much that I think I still have a couple scars still on my legs.
Oh, really?
I'd itch them so much that they would bleed. And I just thought, I was like, wow, it's just like the weather's just really dry. I can't put enough lotion on my body to keep things dry. And then looking back, you know, my doctor had said, you know, did you have really itchy skin? I said, yeah, my legs would bleed. I'd itch so much. He said that's one of the signs of
Isn't that crazy?
Your type of cancer.
Because itchy skin feels just like a regular, everyday
like a dry
experience.
Yeah. But this was really
really bad.
Like nonstop. Like I think I was probably in my sleep itching and didn't even know it.
Wow.
Yeah, you know. So there's another thing. If you've got really itchy skin.
Yeah.
And lotion doesn't work. Go see your doctor.
Go to your doctor.
Go to your doctor.
If I mean, you just gave great advice, but if there's any piece of advice you could give to someone who's currently going through any kind of cancer treatment, what would it be?
Don't push people away. Because sometimes I think, you know, I went through a period of time where my mom came to visit me and she was just being my mom and just being like, every 10 minutes, everything okay? Well, yes, Mom, just trying to sleep. Don't, if people are there reaching out, accept everything that they have to offer because you need it. Yeah. You know, don't be tough guy. Don't be this. Don't be that. Be willing to just open yourself up to as many people wanting to offer help as possible.
Yeah.
You know, and just I don't know. It's such a different experience for everybody.
Yeah.
But you know, hopefully if you're a survivor, you can become a better human being because of it in some way, you know.
That would be the hope.
You know, it would be the hope.
Yeah.
You know, you think after going through something like that, you try not to be such an asshole to people, you know.
Yeah.
And that's not that I'm perfect. I've probably been a jerk or cut somebody off in traffic or did something stupid, but I try not to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a bit more awareness of you never know. I mean, this is such a cliche saying, but you never know what someone's going through on any given day, because I definitely had days, you know, while I was in chemo, but I was out in the world doing normal world stuff, but not feeling myself, that I would behave in a way and be like, oh my God, I don't have the mental capacity to deal with this as I normally would.
Yeah.
And I just think about the other people having to deal with me not knowing it's because I was going through chemo, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my daughter says it when we'll be driving, I'll drive her to school and she'll be like, oh my God, dude, why did that guy just do that? I was like, you know what? We don't know his story. Maybe he's in a hurry because he just found out his kid is sent to the emergency room.
Right.
It's probably not the case,
right.
But
they're probably still a jerk. But
let's try to think about it that way.
Yeah.
You know, so try to be a good example for my kids, I guess, as well with that. But
I also just realized we should point out you did have kids.
Oh yes, to go back.
Yeah,
I didn't save my sperm as advised by my doctor, and I was able to have 3 children.
Yeah,
I'm done.
That's great. You're done.
Done.
Are we sure?
I better be. I don't want to be like one of those old guys where their kids graduate and I'm like 70 or something like that.
Was there a sense of relief after you had the first kid that you were able to?
When my son, when we found out that my son Oliver was happening, the joy of knowing that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was one of the most exciting feelings I think I've ever had. to just know that, and before that, I had a tough relationship with my dad, and I was always afraid, I think at that age, before I had cancer, that I was going to be like, I didn't want to have kids because I don't want to be like how my dad was. The bad part of my dad, there was some great parts of my father. I don't want to say he was a bad dad all around.
Right.
But just some things that I think he missed, a little bit. But then when I found out, and because of going through, cancer, I that just sort of changed my world. And so I was like, what I can do is I can try to be not the opposite of my dad, but be my own dad. I don't have to be like him.
Yeah.
And I was just stuck in that world of just being like, I don't want to be like that, so I'm afraid to do this. So yeah, I've got 3 kids. Oliver's 21.
Oh my
Felix
gosh.
is 18. And my daughter Clover just turned 14.
I think that's 1 kid and 2 adults. You have 1 kid and 2 adults.
Yeah, I know. Actually, no, I was going to say my 14-year-old's like 45.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's like, yeah. And yeah, so I'm lucky. And they're all 3 healthy kids.
Awesome.
They've got all their limbs. I kept them alive all these years.
That's what really
somebody
counts.
always told me that when they're like, you have kids. I was like, I don't want to ask for advice because everybody always asks for advice, but what should I do? And so I can't remember who it was. They're like, what? My advice is just, if you can keep them alive.
Yeah, you've done a great job.
Man. You're doing
I know.
Great. I'm like, okay.
My brother and I always have to tell my mother, we have to tell her that she was a good mom, because sometimes she's like, was I a good mom? We're like, Mom, we're alive. We're healthy. Neither of us are in jail. You did great.
Exactly. You did
great.
Yes, we're alive. It's exactly right.
Yeah,
exactly right. And that's kind of how I looked back on, after I became a dad, how I kind of looked back on my dad,
Yeah.
And then he became the greatest grandfather.
Oh.
He kind of like, I guess he saved it for my kids.
You were the test run.
Yeah, but that's all right. That's okay.
That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Barry, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm trying to figure out how I would have explained to myself 20 years ago that I would be having a conversation with the hot guy from Seventh Heaven about my boobs, and it would not be sexy. But this is a perfect opportunity.
I never would have thought that I'd be here in 2026.
Yeah, talking about my eyebrows.
Yeah, talking about my brows.
They're the real star of the show today.
My sperm.
Yeah, I know.
All this other stuff.
That's, I mean, that's what we have to do. That is my hope, that like these kind of conversations make other people less scared to step into this if they need to.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, but thank you for doing this and starting this so soon after you're done with treatment.
Yeah,
and
I think that's my delusional
kicking ass.
Oh, thanks.
No, you're kicking ass, and keep kicking ass. And I hope all the other guests that you have on here keep kicking ass as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing the Big C energy. You definitely did. If you're at home watching or listening to this and you are on a cancer journey or you're on the sidelines, please, please, please remember to trust your gut, advocate for yourself, and bring your own Big C energy.
And I learned to say, go fuck yourself 1,000 different